Good morning, collective. Good morning, world. Okay. Video take 2. I recorded a message already, and it was good. I was connecting to Mary Magdalene and the Divine Mother, and there was some good stuff in there, but the reading was just really, I don't know, I didn't really like it. But I was sitting here because there was something within the message. So as I was sitting here playing guitar, we're gonna go back to the best parts, or Mary Magdalene. We're gonna start again. And it's funny. Okay, so let's start at the beginning with the channeled, or the direction. So the other day, I learned about the term Myrrophore, an ancient and secret group of remarkable women, the Annointers, who carry spices, especially myrrh and other fragrant oils. In the Greek Orthodox tradition, it would have been to the tomb of Christ. But these were the high priestesses, and Mary Magdalene was of this order. And she was the one to anoint Christ's feet to prepare him for his rite of passage. So, in the original video that I recorded, I had asked who, and while I'm doing this, I'm going to anoint my hands with some oil. The question, because there's a real singular focus today, so I'm connecting to those that may not have anyone. People think that's crazy, but it is quite possible to have no one. So they're showing me, and what I was saying in the other video is that when I was thinking about different death traditions, I've always been really moved by the death tradition of sitting with the body over a period of days and then washing the body, preparing it. And so both Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene keep bringing me back to this question of who would be the one for you to sit with your body and wash it and prepare it, and who would anoint your feet. And they're showing me that for the people I'm connecting to, that it would be no one. So you don't need anyone to do that, because there was a real emphasis in the other reading. The temple card had come out, and the idea is again, no one's coming to save you. You're your own savior. The kingdom of heaven is within. The temple is within your body. Yeah. In the eye of the needle, you go within. Everything is here. It's not outside of ourselves. Even our divine counterpart. You are your own divine. You're your own best asset. You're your own best gift. And everything that you need is within self. The cosmology of yourself that is connected and made up of everything is right here. And there was a lot of snake energy that came through, and they were showing me that the old life for you has died, or is dying. You're about to transition, and I'm not talking a little transition, I'm talking metaphysical. And they Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene, they're with you in spirit, but they want you to be that self-love. That even if you were to physically pass today, and there was no one who loved you enough to sit with your body and wash it tenderly, that you could do that for yourself. They're showing me, like, kind of like Jesus after Easter, that they're showing me your old body, the shedding of the skin, this old skin, and you sitting with yourself. It's really beautiful. It's really sad, but it's like the most beautiful kind of sad. Because again, we're always externally focused on who can love me, who can return me back to whole. But you are whole, and you're perfect in your own divinity, and you're balanced. And to think of that kind of self-love and tenderness, to sit with your own self in your darkest hour. And just like with Jesus, when everyone abandoned him, and even when he warned all the apostles and said, like, before this time, all of you will have, like, betrayed me and really dropped the ball. And they were like, no, we won't, Jesus. We love you. We got your back, girl. We're ride or die. You're our person. And they all were fallible. They all, like, what's his nuts, fell asleep. Like, everyone in Jesus's, like, last moments before the crucifixion, everyone, every single, and people that he loved dearly, they all abandoned him. And all he had was himself, and to go into that darkness, to go find his own light, and being up on the mountain, alone under the moonlight, talking to the divine. And so they're showing me this moment of, like, in your own tomb, you know, like, to sit with the shedded skin and to pay homage to it. Yeah, like a basin of water to wash the hair. And with such tenderness, such reverence for the person who got you to where you are today. All those little yous, all those people that you were, that suffered and had to go through things and had to have their heart broken and to experience the betrayals, the letdowns, the disappointments, the cruelty of people. And to sit with your own self. Again, I'm just hearing, like, reverence, your own temple, to sit at your own altar. And to, like, bow down to self, to be like, to acknowledge the divinity in yourself. And to anoint your own feet. Like Jesus had Mary, Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene were there. They were the ones that were there in his darkest, like, when he was on the cross. And if no one can be that for you, be that for yourself. Anoint your own feet. Create your own altar, a new altar for yourself. One of reverence, one of honor, one of cherishing, one of, high honor, high respect. But not in a way, not in this idolatrous way. You're not above. It's about seeing yourself through the lens of love and the ways that Spirit sees you, and remembering. And that even in this very challenging incarnation, that even if you had no one in this physical plane that would love you enough that after you had passed to, like, sit and wash your body, like as a mother would, or as a father would, with so much, again, reverence, love, tenderness, affection of the highest kind. And to prepare these herbs, these special herbs, as a protection and as a gateway to see you safely, you know, through this stage. Yeah, really beautiful. So, where do we want to go with that? And then bring me back to my video about grief too, this idea of like cradling. There's a real focus on not the external, but the internal. People assume that people have everybody. So many people don't have families. So many people, like, it's just an assumption. There are a lot of people who really don't have anyone. And especially with the way that we've kind of reshaped our societies, you know. You live in a city full of millions of people, and my God, if I try to look at someone in the eye and say good morning, I'm considered a freak. We're very disconnected. The distorted mother, the distorted father. Yeah, the ways that I just feel like someone's heart, there's a lot of broken hearts, a real grieving. And we talked about that in the video yesterday, going back to reclaiming our heart, our humanity. There's real emphasis on the tears. To cry, to grieve the self that is dying, to grieve the people we let go of, to grieve the things that we don't understand that are beyond our comprehension. Okay. All right, well, Mary Magdalene and Mother Mary, let's try again. Let's bring it in. Yeah, okay. Where do we want to go with this shedding of self? The temple. Let's go back to Kim. Okay. All right. All right. All right, all right. Okay. Mary Magdalene. Good morning. What's one card? The thread, the red thread, and the riddle. Guys, we already know I love solving a mystery. I always say we're here to unravel a mystery and follow the red thread. Oh, Mary Magdalene, you are a delight this morning. And in the other video that I deleted, the three-headed snake came out. And I had said, okay, and the other thing that they had shown me, so in one of my other downloads that I'm still yet to untangle, there's an emphasis on the four elements, the fifth being the supreme being, which would be ether, which is center. Then they were showing me the cross. So the four directions, the four elements, with the fifth element being the supreme being, which is center. Then they're showing me the cross isn't a linear thing. It's going back to the unus mundus, the Ouroboros, the circle that keeps connecting. So this way is actually a circle going this way, and this way is a circle going this way. And that there's always these points, the converging. And at some point, even when it feels like, so when I was talking about the ascended and descended master in the other videos, it seems like, yes, you're always in exact proportion to where you are, your counterpart, the descended is always in proportion to you. So no matter how far, you're always in direct correlation to one another. Now, and when I was saying also that there's no depths to how something terrible can be, there's also no depths to how wonderful. But instead of just going on infinitely, it's actually a circle. it's like at some point, the darkness will come back to the light. The 2 points always converge. So we have the thread and the riddle. Okay, let's start there, Mary Magdalene. I love this. Okay. Beautiful, the red threads and the riddle. Oh, man. A lady after my own heart. Mary, you're tip-top. You are tip-top. Mother Mary, I'm so glad to have the 2 of you here. I could really use some of your love today. Thread. Sorry, gang. Sometimes the thread. 205. Okay. Just beautiful. Just beautiful. Mary Magdalene. The thread, the path, the vein, the circuit. Guys, here we go. Cowbell time. Ding, ding, ding. Life is a tangle. Yeah, it is. Like these snakes. They're tangled, but there's... Oh, yeah. Where does one end, one begin? Where does one end the circuit? Where does one end and one begin? They converge and they come back. Okay. So much happens simultaneously and circuitously, leaving us grappling for meaning and direction in a network of distractions. When we connect to the energy of the thread, however, we strike the deepest vein in the body. Our whole being responds to its tug. Meaning is pumped through our bloodstream. Our mind and spirits are lifted. We remember who we are and what we came into this world to do. Though this happens on the most profound level, it could be the simplest incident that activates the thread. A song, an image, a conversation heard in passing. No matter how confusing and multi-layered our modern lives become, if we are connected to the thread, we are free. Being tethered to it is the only anchor our heart requires. Recall a moment in your life when you felt fully alive. The thread is waiting for you amid the details of that memory. To be honest, I feel the most alive when I'm alone and when I'm with my son. Most of the beautiful moments I've experienced have been alone, other than the birth of my son, because the mom was there. Yeah, there's an emphasis on this alone. Well, you're never alone. Humans create the deepest loneliness. To be a human with a big heart still, that isn't desensitized, in a world full of very interesting humans, it can feel very lonely. And to me, just like the living death, the type of loneliness that comes from being surrounded by people, you're like, you are not my people. I don't know where I come from, but I don't come from this. Like, for me personally, I love this earth. I'm really land-based. And other than my son, like, and my 90-year-old man, like, I get these moments of beautifulness with humans. But for the most part, I don't, spiritually I love humans, but really, the only thing I love about this earth is nature, animals, art, music, witnessing humans in their highest and greatest form. But for the most part, yeah, there's this real solitary of if you're alone, but you're never alone, because also you have yourself. You are your own divine counterpart. I cannot stress that enough. Okay, the riddle. And the minute you know how to be truly alone, and again, not give your power away to external things, people, places, and things, you are truly free. 171. Yeah, I love solving a mystery, unraveling a mystery. The puzzle, the question, the mystery. When the riddle is present, one must stop searching for the right answer. It cannot be found, and ultimately it is not important. Rather, there must be a shift from the literal to the metaphorical, from logic to mythic. You are thinking too small and literally about the situation. The riddle card appears when the energy is deep and mysterious, like the elusive wisdom in a Zen koan. Focusing harder won't do it. Neither will increased effort. Time, surrender, and humor are your only allies. What feels like the most pressing dilemma won't reveal its deeper wisdom for a long time. Eventually, you'll learn a profound lesson from the riddle. For now, get comfortable with the limitations of your intellect and the reality of not knowing. It may in fact be the only reality there is. When light, a great awakening or aha moment. When dark, manipulation, deceit, trickery. Who am I? The only way to work with a riddle successfully is not to work. Ponder these koans. The coin that's lost in the river is found in the river. If you meet the Buddha, kill the Buddha. The hand in this card, there's a mudra. I wish I knew which mudra this is. Okay, so Mary's. Oh, excuse me, what? Oh, jeez. Man, I was tired of it. Yeah, I'm tired. Yeah, going back to this crucifixion. They just keep showing me if like no one was there for Jesus. Like if the Marys hadn't been there, they're showing me like Jesus standing over his own dead body and lovingly attending to it and sitting with himself just as he did before. That in your darkest moments, when no one seems like they're there externally, you are there. You are with yourself. You are your own best asset. You are the love of your life. You're your own best friend. And you have everything within you. And to not know. So I'm really seeing for a lot of you, most likely in the dark night of the soul, I'm seeing the shedding of skin, this old you. It's a death, but there's a resurrection, just like with Easter. With the emphasis on the threes, yeah, he has also 3. And then in the other cards with the 3-headed snake, going back to the Tesla's vortex math, we know he loved 369. Following the red thread. Yeah, not knowing. Okay, well that was Mary Magdalene's math. Okay, so Mother Mary, Divine Mother Mary, the crone. Good morning. Ooh, the vow. And the desert. Just like Jesus. Oh my God, I love this. The vow. And the desert. Be your own hand. When you're in the darkness, the hand that reaches for you is yourself. Your own divinity. Jesus was always in the desert. Okay. The vow. And with the peace dove, look who's ascended in your darkest hour. When you're reaching for a hand. Again, we look to the external. Please help me. God, please help me. That prayer. Please, can someone? You're drowning. Please help me. It's you. You pull yourself. The spirit of you that has ascended is the hand that reaches for you to pull you up. The cycles of the moon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 in traditional numerology is the end. Resurrection. Here we go. The vow to self. You're being called to your own altar, the altar of your own divinity, to make a vow to yourself that you will be the one to sit with yourself. Again, very moved. I'm very moved. 173. The promise, the oath, the contract. When the vow is spoken, the air shifts, karmic ties are formed, and destiny tilts on its axis. Our words and intentions have immense power. There is a reason the great mythic stories of our past often include the recitation of oaths and the mixing of drops of blood as a mark of union. Blood of the Lamb, body of Christ. The tricky part is that reciting the vow, no matter how casually, activates the eternal and unseen forces of the world. The ancestors bear witness. The laws of nature respond. These promises cannot be unsaid or forgotten, so breaking them can leave lingering complexities and loose ends. They're showing me this, loose ends. This card calls us to acknowledge the vow we are living by, consciously or unconsciously, and either recommit to it or create a ritual that signifies its closure. You've been underestimate the power of your promises. The ritual. In the other card, the temple, I'm going to read it actually. Recreate your temple, the altar. Okay, well, let's read the desert. Think of the last promise you made. Was it to yourself or another? Has it been upheld or has it been broken? Anytime the energy of the vow is present, we are in the archetypal realm of ceremony and ritual. That means time stands still and anything is possible. There's a real emphasis on ritual and your temple. Your altar. You're being called to stand at your own altar. Your higher self is calling you to stand at your own altar. Desert. Okay. 137. The drought, the wasteland, the badlands. The desert leaves us disoriented, desperate for direction, grasping for meaning, longing for solid ground. For endless miles, we are confronted with a lack of clarity and existential dread. We are thirsty, hungry, pleading with life to get back to normal. to become animated by the simple pleasantries of day-to-day life. The desert offers no such comfort, and all must pass through it. If you can embrace the discomfort, the desert. Okay, sorry, it's coming in for another download that I've been trying to, okay, I gotta make a mental note to write this down for myself. If you can embrace the discomfort of the desert, knowing you will someday reach water again, you can tap into the potent energy of the landscape. Its lights are blindingly bright, and its darks terrifyingly deep, which makes for unbridled creativity and clairvoyant visions. Truths reside in the desert that otherwise remain hidden. The crows, the shadows, and the coyotes calls surround you. Let the winds and sands work their deep magic, wary traveler. When in the throes of the desert, contemplate the following. You are not alone. You have more supplies with you than you think. Water is very near. The desert is alive and pulsing with energy, despite its desolate appearance. Turn toward it rather than away from it. Yeah. Okay. Beautiful. Anything else? Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene. Okay, Mother Mary, the King. Yeah. Okay, so Mary Magdalene, what's your last message? Yeah, you are the King. You're resurrected. The offering. And what is this King doing? Okay, hold on. See, look. The King. All the rays of the sun. He's making an offering. The crucifixion. The palms of Christ, the healing palms of Christ. The offering. The sacrifices we make. Our life is a demonstration. The wing and a prayer, it's an offering to other people. This is coming through for that Easter message that I keep getting. Because we're the only creature that needs stories to understand ourselves. We're the storytellers. And for some of us, we've had to do everything alone. Our trials and tribulations, there's been no hands to pull us up out of it. But in doing so, our life becomes a demonstration for others, to show the way, to say, if my life is anything, let it be a demonstration for you of what is possible. So that for other people, you don't have to go, I went before you so that you don't have to be alone, that in your darkest moments there may be a hand that will reach out and pull you up. And that's kind of this time period we're in. There's so many of us drowning, all waiting for a hand, some kind of help. And see, this is really the divine feminine, the divine masculine. We have the sun here, the King, the receiving, the feminine. Okay, beautiful. The King, 85. If our lives are imagined as a kingdom containing the entire spectrum of human experience, the King presides over it all. Through the lens of the king, we assess the state of our land, make decisions, and rule accordingly. Therefore, the king must be thoroughly and regularly vetted so as to avoid corruption. Recognize the dual nature of the king. He is either seated in benevolence and strength, guiding you towards peace, or he is oppressing the weak out of a need to control. There is not much middle ground. Some think of the king as the ultimate expression of the ego, yet the great kings of mythology and history serve from an egoless place. They take their throne with grace and humility, knowing the divine uses them as a channel to heal deep and long-standing discrepancies in the kingdom. Excuse me. The king is necessary. He is a bridge between the eternal and the day-to-day. It is also said that it is necessary for the king to die. This is the death of the ego. If you see the Buddha, kill him. Yeah, this is the death of self, the shedding of the old skin, sitting with your own self with reverence, giving thanks to your old self, that old life. And just like in the beginning of Jesus' story, where he's marching around, gathering people, and he's telling people, like, leave those things. Trust, like, walk away. And I remember being a younger person being like, what? As if I'd walk away from my family. What? As if I'd walk away from this. That's crazy. Oh, I get it now. Because also once you get older and you realize that, like, just as seen by Jesus, all his apostles, they all, like, humans were fallible. It's part of the great mystery. You know? We reach such heights of our divinity expressed in human form, but we are so fallible. Oh boy, can we sure be disappointing. But within that is our lessons and teachings. Like, nothing's for naught. And some of the harder, painful stuff is the real juicy gems. Okay, so the offering. $193. The gift, the present, the sacrifice. Yeah, the sacrifices we make. The sacrifice that Jesus made. The giving. The giving and the knowing. And also not knowing. And like many of the other cards in the deck, the offering carries a clear as day message and a call to action. As you may have guessed, it is a time for something to be given and given up. For the sake of the bigger picture, if nothing comes to mind immediately, though it's likely that it will, take time in meditation to consider what must be offered and who is to receive it. It's likely you'll feel attachment and hesitancy. You'll make excuses. But recognize the link between the word sacrifice and the word sacred. One leads to the other. When we offer up something to the greater good, we lighten our load and become more able to serve. Going back to the demonstration. Our stories are power. You take all the darkness that you've experienced, and even when no one's demonstrated things to you, let your light be a demonstration for other people so that they can reach out and grab it and be pulled up. That sacrifice that you went through, every heartbreak, every betrayal, every loss, every persecution, burning in the flames of persecution. That you rise up, you transcend, you sit with that old body, you give thanks, and you come out and you offer it. The healing hands of Christ. You show your wounds. You show your vulnerabilities, you show your wounds, and that's the healing. And you offer it as a light for others to receive, to show the way, to have a thread, just like the collective reading again about the grain of a mustard seed. You collectively put it together, it became the star, and a way to tether all of us together, a way out. But recognize the link between the word sacrifice and the word sacred. One leads to the other. When we offer up something to the greater good, we lighten our load and become more able to serve. Imagine for a moment if you were to offer your whole self, unconditionally, to the world. For now, start small. If there is a gift you've been thinking of giving someone special, now is the time. Once a week, Gandhi gave up speaking for a day, offering himself to divine silence. The offering can come in all shapes and sizes. It actually reminds me, every time something hard has happened, I've given up something, an offering to the divine ethers. And if you think about the Sundance ceremony, and even going into a sweat, it's an offering, even just your comfort. You're giving up of something, fasting, getting pierced, dancing under the hot sun, giving up your prayers. And I was actually being shown that in the original video that I started this morning. And I think I'm going to do this today. The Basilica. I'm going to go to the Basilica that I used to go to over 20 years ago. It used to be by my office. But the wall of candles. In order to receive, you must give it away. Yeah, go light candles for other people. When you're stuck in your darkness, when you're so focused on your own pain, sometimes the best way out of it is to look outward and to be of service to someone else, or to put your focus. When I wish great things for you, it allows me to receive great things. When I want the best for you, when I want you to be able to receive, when I want you to thrive and be successful and be uplifted, I'm in the energy to also be able to receive. What I want for you is what I want for myself. Yeah, there's okay, oh yeah, the temple. We're going to quickly read that, and I think we're going to end there. But there's this real emphasis on you need to build your own altar to you. How would you venerate yourself? Think about all the different types of altars that exist and all different types of traditions that venerate their supreme deities or gods or goddesses, ascended masters, their teachers, their medicine people. What would you put on your altar for yourself? Go make your own anointing oil. Maybe have a spiritual bath. Anoint, yeah, there's something here. Okay, the temple. Temple, where are you, girl? Okay, let's go low and slow. There you are, 141. The sanctuary, the shrine, the altar. When we think of the temple, we often envision an architectural structure in a far-off land. We are quick to distance ourselves from the sacred, assuming we must expend much effort in order to arrive there. Yet the temple is a universal and omnipresent energy, accessible in the highest and lowest, richest and poorest of places. Visiting the temple might be as simple as stepping into the dappling light of the forest. That's my temple, for sure. Or one of my temples. Slowly and sensuously kissing a lover, or closing your eyes to travel inward. This card is a call to re-examine what you pay homage to and what you reject. What do you spend your time worshiping? Is it your phone, money, material goods? What barriers do you draw between yourself and the sacred? Perhaps there is room on your altar for something new, something surprising, offering it to the heavens. Though indeed the temple travels with you, this card is interwoven with the pilgrim archetype. If you've been longing for a spiritual journey, book your tickets. The ancient yogis saw the body itself as the temple, every function and feature of it as an expression of divinity. Build a shrine with found materials. Don't spend any money, only time. Time is an act of devotion. Whew. One last card, not from the oracles. All right, the two Marys. Thank you. Really, again, moved as always. Moved as always. Okay, spirit animal. Yeah, don't be afraid to go it alone. I'm telling you, the worst kind of loneliness is the loneliness you feel with other people. I feel whole and complete in who I am every time I'm alone. I feel my best. It is a wonderful place to be. And if you're someone who struggles with that, I really encourage you to learn about yourself, to figure out why you're your own best friend. Miraculous miracles in the temple of yourself, the altar. Wasp spirit. Okay, now wasp spirit is actually a friend to me. I have a true relationship with wasp. I wouldn't have picked this relationship myself, but wasps love me. Sometimes life stings. Ain't that the truth? Okay. And then butterfly. Oh, yeah, the two. Okay, well, we technically have three. Okay, so we have, again, what I feel like is, even though I love wasps, I know not a lot of people do, I love wasps. I work a lot with them. I had a pet wasp named Rosie. I have a picture of her on my Instagram. She used to sleep. She used to come back every single night. She used to sleep on my windowsill, and I used to feed her. Whatever, that's a whole other story. But, okay, so I feel like there's been some stinging of the hearts. I really feel it today. I really feel it in my heart. A longing, a pining, a grieving. Being in that darkness and really not understanding. Feeling bereft. Really feeling like, wow, all of the things that I've loved have just, bereft. People have left. People have been real disappointment in your darkest hours. But you're never alone. You're never bereft, especially with yourself. We always forget about ourselves. You are the person who has got you where you are today. No one else, just you. You are your own temple, your own magnificence, and you're transforming that shedding of the skin, the funeral pyre. Yeah, wash that body, sit with it. Sit with the three, what is it? Is it 3 days and 3 nights? That's what I'm feeling. Maybe in a different tradition longer, but I'm feeling like 3 days and 3 nights, sitting up with the body, praying over it, washing it, giving it the most loving bath as only a parent could. But then I'm seeing the funeral pyre. Remain calm, set yourself on fire, which is part of a different download. Yeah, and then you emerge, the 11. The ascension. Coming out of the cave. And then Spirit is here to remind you, again, that you're never alone. That up above, Hawk Spirit, let Spirit be your guide. Okay, beautiful. Well, that's kind of the message today, folks. So, thank you, Mother Mary. Thank you, Mary Magdalene. Beautiful message. I hope the Divine Mother and Mary Magdalene find you today. And yeah, go build your altar to yourself. All right, world. Stay blessed out there. Stay golden.